You look up, and their eyes are already there, holding something they never said. Then they glance away too fast, like you almost caught a private reaction. You have probably felt that strange jolt even when nothing obvious was happening. It feels small, but your nervous system treats it like important information. Because most staring without meaning to is not empty, even when words stay polite. It is usually a leak, a moment where attention outruns self-control. People love saying eye contact means confidence, attraction, or simple curiosity, and stopping there. But real life feels messier than that almost immediately, and usually more revealing. Sometimes a stare is interest, but sometimes it is conflict wearing a neutral face. And the reason it unsettles you is simple. Your brain detects mismatches before language does. You are not imagining it when a look feels heavier than the conversation. Your mind notices timing, tension, hesitation, and tiny emotional leaks in milliseconds automatically. That is why one silent glance can feel louder than 5 ordinary sentences. And once you see what creates it, those moments stop feeling random. Picture a conversation where someone answers normally, but their eyes flick sideways first. The words arrive smoothly, yet that tiny detour tells you something arrived earlier. Maybe it was doubt, maybe caution, maybe the impulse to hide a real feeling. The face stayed calm, but the eyes briefly admitted there was more happening. That is the first hidden tension. Attention often moves before the social mask does. A person can look steady and still be emotionally split in that moment. You might see this when someone likes the compliment but hates needing it. Their mouth says thanks, but their eyes freeze, soften, or leave a beat late. That delay matters more than people think, because emotional truth is often slightly slower. Not slower than speech, but slower than the version of themselves they prefer showing. Another familiar moment is when someone smiles warmly, then looks away almost immediately. You can feel the warmth was real, but not fully comfortable inside them. That quick break in eye contact can come from shyness, attraction, guilt, or self-protection. Not because they planned it, but because closeness activates more than they expected. Most people do not stare by accident when they feel absolutely nothing. They stare when attention gets hooked before the rest of them catches up. This is why long eye contact can feel flattering 1 second and unsettling next. It depends on what emotion is underneath it, and whether that emotion is integrated. When someone is calm, eye contact feels grounded, open, and easy to interpret. When someone is split inside, eye contact starts carrying pressure, confusion, or mixed signals. And your body notices that pressure even before your mind explains it. A friend agrees too quickly, keeps looking at you, and something feels strangely off. The agreement sounds supportive, but the stare feels like effort, not ease. That can happen when someone wants connection, yet resents what they cannot say. So they overcompensate with quick approval while their eyes stay behind to process. You may have noticed this after sharing good news with someone close. They smile, they say exactly the right thing, yet their face turns colder. It is not always jealousy in the dramatic sense people like naming. Sometimes it is grief, comparison, shame, or the sudden reminder of their own stuckness. Their eyes reveal the impact before their personality has time to reorganize. That is why words and eyes often disagree during emotionally loaded moments. Speech is managed, but attention leaks, and attention usually leaks in the eyes first. Here is where people get misled. They treat every stare like a message sent deliberately. But many of the strongest signals are not intentional messages at all. They are glimpses of inner conflict escaping before self-image can smooth everything over. That is why they feel so real, because they were never polished. You might have seen this during a strange pause before somebody answers a direct question. Their eyes hold on you too long, then drop right before they speak. That pause is often the mind choosing between honesty, safety, and acceptable presentation. Even when the final answer sounds smooth, the silence already told on them. And no, this does not mean every hesitation proves lying or hidden motives. Sometimes the truth itself is hard to say when it changes the relationship. A person can hesitate because they care, because they fear hurting you or exposure. The eyes reveal the strain of choosing what version of truth feels survivable. That is what makes accidental staring so revealing, especially inside close relationships. The more something matters, the harder it becomes to keep attention perfectly controlled. You can also see it in lighter moments, which is why it is easy to miss. Someone teases you, laughs, then watches your reaction 1 second too carefully. They are not just joking anymore. Now they are checking what landed emotionally. That extra second of watching often means the joke carried more truth than admitted. The same thing happens after a compliment that feels slightly too specific. Maybe they praise your voice, your presence, your confidence, then suddenly lose composure. That small reaction afterward can say more than the compliment itself ever could. Because what slips after the words often reveals why the words happened. This is the deeper pattern. Eyes often expose the emotion that speech is trying to manage. And the more emotionally mixed that feeling is, the stranger the stare becomes. Attraction looks different when it is clean than when it is conflicted. In one case, the eyes stay present. In the other, they keep betraying avoidance. Warmth looks different when it is genuine than when it is duty. Politeness can copy kindness with words, but the eyes usually cannot sustain it. Confidence looks different from control, and people confuse those two states constantly in public. Strong eye contact is not always strength. Sometimes it is armor holding everything together. You can feel that difference instantly, even if you cannot explain it yet. That is because your social brain tracks congruence more closely than performance alone. When expression, timing, and attention line up, you relax without thinking about it. When they do not, even a pleasant interaction leaves a strange residue. That residue is often your first clue that someone was emotionally elsewhere while appearing present. You know that strange moment when a person seems warm but their face goes cold. It can happen in 1 second right after you say something unexpectedly intimate. Maybe you ask a simple question that touches a place they protect carefully. The smile stays, but the eyes flatten, and the room changes immediately. That shift does not always mean rejection. Often it means sudden self-defense. Something in them felt seen before they were ready, and their system pulled back. This is why eye behavior matters most around vulnerability, not around rehearsed conversation. Rehearsed moments are easy to manage because the self already knows its script. But unplanned feelings force a faster truth, and the eyes usually meet it first. So here's what to notice next time this happens right in front of you. First, notice timing, because timing tells you whether the reaction came before control. If the eyes shift, freeze, or linger before the words arrive, that matters. It means the emotion showed itself before the person decided how to present. Second, watch direction, because where the eyes go often reveals the internal move. Downward glances can signal shame, overwhelm, or the need to reduce exposure quickly. Side glances can suggest checking, withholding, uncertainty, or emotion moving away from contact. Eyes that hold too long may signal intensity, but intensity is not one emotion. It could be attraction, defensiveness, resentment, fear, fascination, or the struggle to hide. Third, watch for mismatch between the eyes, the mouth, and the body. A person may sound relaxed while their face tightens and their shoulders hesitate. They may smile while stepping back slightly, or agree while their eyes harden. Those mismatches matter because people can edit words faster than they can edit reactions. And when several small mismatches happen together, the pattern becomes much clearer. This does not mean you should become suspicious of everyone you meet. It means you can become more accurate about emotional reality beneath social performance. That accuracy protects you from forcing simple stories onto complicated human moments. Sometimes a stare means attraction, but with fear attached and no safe place. Sometimes it means discomfort, but mixed with genuine care and attention still underneath. Sometimes it means someone is having two opposite feelings in the same second. That is why the eyes confuse you. They are showing a conflict, not a verdict. And conflict looks messy even when the person seems polished everywhere else. You've probably met someone whose eye contact felt intense but never fully warm. They looked at you like they were trying to understand, measure, and protect. That can happen when trust is wanted, but not yet safe inside them. Their attention stays close, but their system refuses to soften completely yet. So the stare feels present, but not open, engaged, but not surrendered. You can feel the difference between someone seeing you and someone monitoring you. Both involve eye contact, but only one feels emotionally spacious inside it. The other feels narrow, like attention is working overtime to prevent exposure. This is also why some people stare during silence and others cannot hold it. Silence removes the script, so inner tension suddenly becomes much harder to hide. A person comfortable with themselves can stay present without pushing or fleeing. A person full of conflict may stare, then break, then return, then break again. That rhythm alone can tell you more than whatever they eventually say. So if you want to understand people better, stop asking only what they said. Ask what their attention did before, during, and right after the words. Ask where the warmth rose, where it disappeared, and what replaced it. Ask whether the eyes matched the message or quietly contradicted it somewhere. Those tiny details are often the difference between surface understanding and real understanding. Because subtle behavior is where people reveal what they cannot comfortably announce. Not in dramatic confessions, but in these quick, unguarded slips of attention. That is why you remember certain looks for years, even when the conversation was ordinary. Something in you recognized that the eyes were carrying unsaid truth there. And once you learn to notice that, people become easier to read compassionately. Not more judgmentally, just more accurately, with less confusion and less self-doubt. You stop assuming every mixed signal is about you, because often it is not. Sometimes you are simply watching another person lose control of a hidden feeling. And that is what accidental staring really is in many ordinary moments. It is attention revealing emotional truth before identity can tidy it into language. If you have noticed a moment like this, trust that feeling a little more. Not as proof, but as a clue that something deeper was present. That is how you start understanding people the way most conversations never teach you. If this helped you name something you have felt but never explained, stay close. Novi Mind is for the signals, tensions, and quiet truths most people still overlook daily. Share a moment you noticed in real life, because those details help everyone see clearer around them. And if you want more of what hides beneath ordinary behavior, subscribe naturally here. The next video is about why some people smile right before they emotionally withdraw.